Hey everybody, happy Wednesday. This is Pastor Dennis. It's nice to be joining with you today or whenever you look at this video or whatever. But thanks for joining me. I got a question to start off the day today. Are you breathing? I know what you're thinking. Obviously you are, or you wouldn't be listening to this message or whatever. But I've read a lot about breathing and done a lot of different things with it. And, you're supposed to breathe a normal person from 12 to 20 times per second would be a full breath. And studies show that most people, or a lot of people, especially Americans, we tend to breathe 30 to 40 times a sec or a minute. And I thought, I'm probably in that group that I breathe a lot and whatever. I remember I took a trip a couple years ago over to Ireland, and I started off my trip with going to a yoga retreat center because I really just wanted to stretch out my body and kind of refocus and everything. And so I get there and I come in and I meet the owner. And we were talking, and I don't remember what I said to him, and all of a sudden he goes, "You're very shallow." And I'm like, probably, but I didn't think you'd pick it up that fast. But he did add more to it. He said, "You're a very shallow breather." And same thing, I stepped back for a second, was thinking about that, and I'm like, I wanted to say, well, yeah, you just made me lug 50 pounds of luggage up this windy staircase up to my room. You'd be panting too if you carried that thing up there. But anyway, it really made me think about our breath and how important it is to us and how we take it for granted and we go through our day. And if you're like me, you tend to take these little shallow breaths. And when I was thinking about this, I was also thinking in some ways, that's like God's presence with us. Bible talks multiple times about God being in us, with us always. And yet, how often do we really take advantage of that or really think about that, especially throughout our day? Maybe we start with devotions in the morning, or some people do them at the end of the day. But during our day, do we really stop and think about that? I love the passage from Joshua 1:9. "Have I not commanded you, be strong and courageous? Do not be afraid and do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go." Lord your God is with you wherever you go. Well, a lot of studies will say that when we take time to really deeply breathe, and they'll usually say in through your nose and out through your mouth. I tend to like to do it the other way, but either way that you do it, you take those deep breaths that every single living cell in your body needs oxygen. So you're breathing all this oxygen into you and expelling the carbon dioxide out of you. And so, it is good. It's healing. People have lower blood pressure who do it and all kinds of other health benefits. And yet, like I said, most of us don't. But imagine if during our day that we would intentionally, whether we mark it on our planner or put little notes in our pocket or something to remind us to stop and deeply breathe. Take nice deep breaths. And how relaxed and energized and rejuvenated we probably feel if we did that. And I thought about that with the breath techniques, and what if we did the same thing with God? I love the Hebrew word, and I don't know if I can pronounce it correctly. I've heard different pronunciations. It's ruach. It's R-U-A-C-H. And it's a Hebrew word that means breath or spirit. And I love that image of, I breathe in when I'm doing it. It's not just oxygen, but I'm breathing God into me and pushing out the bad stuff, the stress, the frustrations, all the things that breathing deep and spending that time recognizing the presence of God, taking the deep breaths for my body and my spirit together. And I'm going to really try to do that. Matter of fact, I set an alarm for every day at noon to stop. And if you have a smartphone, you can do that. And just stop. Take some deep breaths. Just take at least a couple of minutes. They say the best is to do 15 minutes a day. But even if you can't convince yourself to do that, start small, even a minute or two of just deep breaths. and let them back out through your nose or in through your nose, and then just sense the presence and think about the presence of God. That I'm breathing in the ruach, the breath of God, the life of God, the spirit of God. And that I can't believe if we would do that every day or a couple times a day, that it wouldn't really make a difference physically, helping us relax and be energized and refocused and rejuvenated, but even spiritually. We so, like I said, we take so for granted that, yeah, God's in me, God's with me, God surrounds me, God's a healing God, a loving God, forgiving God. But what if I, during my day, not just in the morning or evening, but that during my day, I would take that time to really reflect on that and reimagine that and breathe that into my heart and life. Hopefully you give it a try. Me too. And I hope you have a great week and look forward to joining you again next week. God bless you and go in peace. And we'll talk to you next week. Take care. Bye.